This video shows you how to set up and decorate your Christmas tree, as well as the disassembly process of taking down your Christmas tree. Here, I will be showing you how to set up a Tula silver-tipped fir Christmas tree. It's about 1.8 meter in height or 6 feet. This silver-tipped fir luxury tree with the metal stand has got an artificial frosted effect to it. It's got more like a snow-like frosted dazzling effect to it. The gross weight with the box inclusive is 8.20 kilograms, and excluding the box is 6.60 kilograms. The volume is 0.0798 cubic meter. And so, once the metal base foundation has been assembled together, I will begin to use the tree scarf to dress one row of the hinged tree at a time without all the branches above interfering. Suffice to say, ideally, the band should be fitted each time a row is completed. So get the metal stand base foundation out and also the row branches from the box. So this is an hypothetical situation. In an ideal situation, whilst setting up the row of the hinged tree to be dressed, one row of the tree should be dressed at a time without all the branches interfering from above. So I will be showing you the process from the floor. So you can see the tree scarf holding the other row of branches, in situ, into position, whilst I spread out the needle shaped leaves, on the branch or tipped fir, which the red scarf isn't holding in position. The red scarf helps with accessibility and ramping up of the tree assembly process. So I will be opening up the metal base foundation, assembling, the necessary closed eye hooks into the foundation, and then subsequently installing, one row at a time, or assembling one row of the hinged tree at a time into the metal stand. The white centered round rose cap, on the rug doesn't come with the box, but it was improvised, just to give the metal rod, a center of gravity, and, to prevent, the metal rod from exerting pressure or damaging the rug. So subsequently, at a later stage, I will be using the closed eye hook to secure the rod into the metal stand, and I will be opening up the or stretching out the needle-shaped leaves on them branches and positioning the centerpiece or main rod into the metal stand and securing it with the closed eye hooks. As you can see, I'm not using the tree scarf to dress one row of the hinged tree, one at a time, and that's because I know what I'm doing, but by all means deploy the use of the tree scarf if the other branches are getting in the way. Okay, so this is the base row completed. If you want, a band or the tree scarf can be fitted each time a row is completed, one at the bottom row, and when that's done, before you insert the midsection row, you apply the tree scarf, but I'm not using it here because I know what I'm doing. The next step would just be to stretch out, the needle-shaped leaf on them branches at the bottom base or the bottom hinged tree, and then subsequently insert the midsection of the hinged tree onto the bottom section of the hinged tree. And once the midsection of the hinged tree is fully inserted, you stretch out the needle-shaped leaves on them branches, okay? And once the branches and the needle-shaped leaves on the midsection of the hinged tree has been fully spread out, you will see the slot at which the top part of the hinged tree will slide or slot into, okay? And once we've got an evenly wide spread or distribution around the midsection, we can then proceed to install the top row of the hinged tree. At this stage, we're pretty much going to replicate or repeat and reproduce the process, of spreading out the needle-shaped leaves on them branches, as previously done before for the bottom and the midsection of the hinged trees. By all means use the tree scarf if you want to, but like I said, I'm just going to skim through that process as I know exactly what I'm doing here, okay? And as you can see, I'm spreading out the needle-shaped leaves on them branches in preparation for the installation of the lights on the top section, the mid section, and the bottom section of the hinged tree or the row of the hinged trees. And as you can see, I'm starting from the bottom of the hinged tree, in an upward spiral up to the midsection and then up to the top section row of the hinged trees. Plod along painstakingly, run the light and decoration through the branches or the needle-shaped leaves. Even if you'd have to run through a smorgasbord or myriad of them branches or the needle shaped leaves, just be patient. You will get there in the end, up until you reach the tip of the iceberg or the apex of the Tula silver tipped fir Christmas tree. And as you can see at this stage, it's got a winter wonderland beautiful silver frosted look. It looks absolutely brilliant and dazzling, okay? And if you want to take the decoration on this classy wintry filled tree one step further, you can begin to install the baubles and the ornament, on the tree into two. Just emboss or retrofit your showy trinket or decoration, onto the tree. Be generous, and tailor your decoration bespoke to your requirements, as preference is subjective. What works for one person may necessarily not work for another person, but these are the baubles that I've chosen and their respective ornaments, okay? And so from here onwards, I'm just going to embellish, the Christmas tree with more baubles and ornaments, sort of like, to give it a facelift, from just the original lighting that was retrofitted on the tree to a state where we've got many bubble reference points as well as ornament points, giving it more of a grandiose appearance, okay? With respect to variations in color as well as the shapes of the ornaments and their respective arrangements. So this was the initial state prior to fitting the baubles and the ornaments, okay? And this is the final state after fitting them ornaments and baubles and lighting up the Christmas tree. It looks absolutely brilliant, fantastic. Okay, it's got a height of 2.4 meters, a girth of 120 centimeter. The number of tips on the tree is 587. It's got hinged branches, a metal base included, and the needle type is hard needle and soft needle, and the finish is silver tipped. At this stage, I'm pretty much giving you a 2D panoramic view of the assembled Tula silver tipped fir Christmas tree. All of the hard work's paid off. This is exactly what I had pre-envisioned prior to assembling or installing all of the accessories on the Christmas tree branches. And as with life, every good thing comes to an end. But the beauty of this Tula silver tipped Christmas tree is that, it can be salvaged for the next season. Okay? So, I will be showing you how to take it down or reverse engineer the process so that we can store it away for the next season. And so the reverse engineer or takedown process would entail getting off the baubles and the ornaments from the tree, which is what I'm doing here, and then subsequently taking off the first row of the hinged tree in succession. The midsection of the hinged tree will follow, and then the bottom section of the hinged tree row will follow. Okay, then we decouple the stand or the metal stand base foundation. Once all the baubles and ornaments have been taken off, the next step would be to take off the lighting decoration on the Christmas tree. Starting from the top of the snowy Tula Christmas tree down to the bottom, just take off the serpentine or serpent wound decoration, from the Christmas tree in the same orientation that it was installed previously. Okay, so just reverse engineer it off of all of them branches or the needle shaped leaves. And once done, you can disconnect the adapter from the mains, okay, or switch off the socket, okay. The next step would be to close in all the needle shaped leaves on the row of the hinged tree, at the top, the midsection and the bottom, sort of like cluster them together, close them into position in preparation for, storing or for storage. Again, you can use the tree scarf if you so desire, but I've skimmed through that. I know exactly what I'm doing. The next step would be to dislodge or disassemble the top row of the hinged tree from the midsection row of the hinged tree. Then replicate or repeat and reproduce the process for the midsection row of the hinged tree. So pretty much cluster or close in all the needle-shaped leaves, in the midsection, and then dislodge, the midsection from the bottom section row of the hinged tree. So that's the top and midsection on the carpet. The next step would be to dislodge, the bottom hinged section row of the hinged tree. So I will replicate or repeat the disassembly process that was instituted for the top and midsection of the hinged tree. And to dislodge the bottom row section of the hinged tree, I will dislodge or rotate the closed eye hooks anti-clockwise to hand loosen or tuck loosen the closed eye hooks grip on the rod for the bottom row hinged tree. And as you can see, after tuck loosening, I've got a bit of play there, so I can dislodge the rod for the bottom row hinge tree from the metal stand base foundation. Do not let the crumbs that you see on the carpet dismay you. It can easily be hoovered. All of them crumbs are actually due to protracted use. It's not like the first time you set up the Christmas tree, you're going to have all them crumbs there, okay? Insert the protection dust caps, on the rods of the top, mid, and bottom section of the hinged tree, to help protect the integrity of the diameter of them bores in them rods, okay? For optimal insertion into each other's rods, salvage or store away the metal stand and the tree scarf alongside the rows of the hinged trees into the box. And that's about it really. If you found the information useful, don't forget to subscribe, like and share, help the channel grow, and hopefully catch up with you later. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening. Goodbye.